Nigeria Info. I'm sure you've been having a fantastic time with all the amazing conversation from the morning crossfire show, what's happening at Abuja, and the sunny side show that just wrapped up. Now, I hear a lot of people that's asking, what are the 12 countries? Well, Swat did mention those countries on the ban list. Nigeria is not on the list. I know some of you that don't like Nigeria will be like, why is Nigeria not on the list? Nah, we're not. Deal with it. All right. And I will just take it off from where she left off to looking at the latest coming from the staple of the U.S. president. President Donald Trump Wednesday signed a proclamation banning citizens of 12 countries from entering the United States. Nationals from these countries will be fully restricted from entering the United States, according to the proclamation. Similarly, the entry of national of Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela will be partially restricted, and the proclamation is effective the 9th of June 2025. That's about 5:01 a.m. Nigerian time. And he gave the 12 countries affected by this new travel ban. Well, most of them are going through one either a civil war, a crisis, or a war, or something is going on there. Afghanistan. I mean, the Taliban have taken over. Myanmar have their own internal issues going on. Chad, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen. And these are the countries that are having the direct ban on them. And the countries affected where there will be some bit of restriction is the one I mentioned earlier on: Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, Venezuela. And he's tying it to an attack that happened somewhere in Colorado and saying we can't bring people into our country that we can't vet properly or that are going to be a threat to our country. We can't let them come into the United States of America at this point in time, which is a bit reminiscent of what he did in his first term as president, where he slammed the ban. And a lot of people raised their brows and say, okay, why are they predominantly countries from, the Middle East and, a bit of Africa also, and predominantly Islamic countries? However, this time around, he has expanded it to include a bit more based on the crisis situation in their country, and saying that if we don't feel safe, we can't let them come into our country. So those are the countries, and I saw a lot of messages even after Swat left asking the countries and if Nigeria was on it. We're not. We don't have a civil war going on. Our books are open. We do not. I mean, he also cited the example. He stated countries where they refuse to, when they want to deport some of their irregular migrants in the United States, and like they're refusing to accept their people, so ban and all of that. We don't have any of those issues where our records are squeaky clean. Our reputation of overstaying visa for some people, even at that, they've cut down significantly on the amount of visas they gave Nigeria. So, we're good. We're in the good book. So that's that, and let's get into the big three stories driving conversation in Nigeria that's got you talking. And if we find the time, we would really talk about Nigeria. I mean, I saw a question like, if my guest does not show up for 4 o'clock, this I will bring up and ask you that question about. But I will not put it out because I feel like a lot of people start commenting on it already while we're not there yet. So I was talking with Fidel Castro, bottom line Fidel of the Friday morning show, and our editor. We're talking about the fact that the Netherlands is to hand over 119 looted Benin bronzes to Nigeria on the 21st of June. And me and my big mouth are like, okay, so what does that really do when you come back home to Nigeria? I'm excited about it. It's our property. And apparently, we have been clamoring to get it back for 50 years since the colonizers made away with them. And the Dutch embassy was like, oh, it shouldn't have even come into our country in the first place. We're handing it over. It's going to be one of the largest of this coming back into the country. And I asked him, like, oh, what does he really do? Because you go to the museum in Benin City, and do people really go there? Like, like Nigerians will go and see, like, yeah, people troop there a lot. I'm like, that'll be interesting. But perhaps the next time I visit Benin City, I might want to go in there and just see. But I don't know. We're museum people, right? Would he still have like kind of like the value, like how people go on tourism in Europe and then they look at it. Would it have the same attraction if it was back here? Would it attract tourists to come around and say, oh, we're going to Benin City, want to go see the artifacts and the likes of it? I'm just asking, don't come for my head. It's honest to God question. But I'm glad it's coming back, even if we don't look at it, even if it does not attract tourists, even if at the end of the day we put it in a warehouse and throw the key away. It's ours, and it should be with us. Period. End of story, yeah? So the Netherlands is expected to hand over 119 looted Benin bronze to Nigeria this month. The Dutch embassy in Nigeria confirmed on Thursday that the bronzes would arrive in the week of June 16. Officials say the handover ceremony will take place on the 21st of June at the National Museum in Lagos, which would then later be returned to the National Museum in Benin City, Edo State capital. The number of artifacts is expected to be the single largest to be returned to Nigeria. And the bronzes were looted during the 1897 British raid on Benin City. British raid. Number of things they raided. We forgive you. Earlier in February, the Dutch embassy in Nigeria said the artifact should have never, ever, and I agree with you, ended up in the Netherlands. And the ambassador designate said Nigeria has been clamoring for the return of the bronzes for over 50 years. And at the time, the embassy said the bronzes were expected to arrive in Nigeria later this year, but did not specify when. So we do have a date and it will be brought back. And yeah, now my interest has peaked a lot. I would love to visit Benin City and just, we're allowed to take pictures. I doubt that, but just love to see them in their natural environment, back home, what it feels like. If it carries somebody was talking about some of this event, they carry their own kind of energy. I say, why they don't carry the energy where they for Europe? Why is it that when it's back home in Nigeria, people want to attach so much spiritual stuff to it? It's art. It's beautiful. Go see it. That's all I have to say for now. All right. And so this one, let's look at it beyond, I've come to a point where I look at messages, but honest to God, I also look at the messenger. I'm like, all right, what are you saying exactly? What did you do when you were there and all of that? And sometimes it can just blind you from focusing on the core of the message. So let's just focus on the core of the message. Besides this, for my EFCC boss, if you're looking at his case was, when you get back to it, why was Bauer really removed as EFCC chairman? Everything happened so fast. He was the one that happened to her. It was not the one that they probed. Was he? I'm confused because back to back, we're getting our EFCC chairman just leave unceremoniously. However, Abdulrashid Bauer's case, I think it was a case of just getting a little too big for his britches at one point in time. Anyways, he put out a book and he cited a good example of how porous things are in the country over a particular subsidy fraud. Now, the details emerged on how one Oluwaseun Ogunbambo, a Nigerian businessman and managing director of Fago Petroleum and Gas Limited, forged several documents to claim 3.7 billion naira in a petrol subsidy fraud. So apparently, he did not bring petrol, is that what they're saying? And he collected 3.7 billion and disappeared. He not literally, figuratively disappeared because they held him at one point, but somehow he jumped bail and disappeared. If someone can escape from the NSA's hold. What is jumping bail again? In his new book, that's Abdul Rashid Bauer, for my EFCC boss, he wrote a book. I'm glad that Nigerians have an appetite for reading right now because it's back-to-back with his book. Have any of you read the book by the former military head of state, Babangida? You've not read his book. Well, there's another book for you to look out for, perhaps. Maybe if you're curious as to how subsidy fraud happens, you might want to look out for this one. I won't tell you how to get it. I need to pay for that. The Shadow of Loot and Losses. uncovering Nigeria's petroleum subsidy fraud. Abdulrasheed Bawa, the former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, revealed inside detail of Ogunbambo's indictment and prosecution for defrauding the government under the petroleum subsidy or the petrol support fund scheme. And that's the subsidy scheme. That is, this is one man who only God knows how many of the Ogunbambos we have out there. This is one that he captured in his book. Bawa served as the chairman of the Anti-Graft Agency from February 2021 to June 2023. And in the book, he detailed how the petrol subsidy scheme was used to siphon public fund, drawing from his experiences as a key investigator on the EFCC special team that probed the 2012 subsidy fraud. Now, Ogunbambo was declared wanted by EFCC in 2013. It even predates when Abdulrasheed, the camera is on. It predates him when Abdulrasheed was EFCC chairman, and he was one of those. Well, apparently he was still there, and then investigated. Was it in 2013? No. Investigated the particular case where in 2013 he said that he forged several documents. This Ogunbambo forged document to make 976.6 million subsidy scam. While he was on trial, he jumped bail and fled the country. Now, Oluwaseun Olubukola Ogunbambo is perhaps the biggest fraudster in the petroleum subsidy fraud, according to his book. Now, my words, this assertion is not necessary in terms of the amount of the money that was fraudulently accumulated, so that you don't think, the highest they've taken is this amount. No. He is notorious because of the different things that played out eventually. He said many of the promoters of oil marketing companies made more money than this particular man. However, Mr. Ogunbambo is a fraudster wanted in many countries for fraud. He was in the radar of the Republic of Ireland, the United States of America, where he later served a prison term for fraud and identity theft, where he served. He was also in the radar in the United Kingdom and Nigeria. EFCC was already investigating for alleged fraud and identity theft since 2009 and has jumped bail. Bawa said Ogunbambo had used different identity over the years to evade arrest and prosecution. Aside from him, he was also known as Adekumbo, Oladapo, Shobowale Benson. Like, the man has several aliases to work with. Let's go on a quick break. Quite interesting because it's one man we're talking about.
Everyone said.
Not for you to want to get the book, like you want to know more about this man.
Not for you to want to get the book, like you want to know more about this man.
Sorry about that. My bad. So, where was I in this very interesting story? So, Bawa said Ogunbambo was once accosted by security officials suspicious of him at the Dublin airport in Ireland, and he was forced to forfeit £20,000 and €20,000 found in his bag, and then fled to Nigeria. He was also jailed in the United States on October 2020 for falsifying identity information, which he did with multiple names to apply for a U.S. passport. Although Mr. Ogunbambo presented a Nigerian passport, his nationality on the passport was Nigeria, while while his place of birth was London. On his British passport, so no, that was the British can have him. On his British passport, his nationality was British, and the place of birth was Ottawa. Says Bauer, like this man is something else. They should do a movie about him, but that, perhaps that would be glorifying his antics. So, according to the book, practically all documents that Ogunbabo issued to the Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency (PPPRA) to claim subsidy payment was forged. A big question you should be asking yourself: did Ogunbabo bring fuel that was subsidized before he paid, with or without a forged document? Moving on. The documents of the Ikoyi Lagos property used in obtaining a loan of $700 million and $4 million from a financial institution for alleged petrol import was also forged. In addition, investigative findings further showed that the vessel he claimed to have used in the importation were never the location he claimed. They don't sell Nigerian airports to Nigerians. Oh boy. You know, you say somebody scammed someone and say, "Oh, I own the airport," or I own Nigeria. I think there was one scam I heard of back then that somebody fell for and bought, was it the airport or bought something? Like you would think, like somebody should say, "Oh, I own National Stadium, I will sell it to you," and somebody will buy it. Like the definition of move to the goo. It feels like we fell for it on a large scale. So, going back to this very interesting story, he forged out his document. He said, "See, I used this vessel." Apparently, there was no vessel. In addition, investigative finding further showed that the vessel he claimed, okay, I read this part before, never used it in importation. It was never the location he claimed for the ship-to-ship transloading. In a total of 5 transactions, Mr. Ogunbambo allegedly had obtained over 3.7 billion by false pretense through his company, Fargo Petroleum and Gas Limited, and 2 other companies for whom he had executed PMS importation permits. Now, Fargo Petroleum and Gas Limited was registered on the 19th of July, 200162. Okay. With Mr. Ogunbambo owning more than 90% of the company, it was issued a permit by PPPRA to import 10,000 metric tons of PMS for Q3 of 2011 on the 2nd of August 2011. And long story short, guys, so as not to bore you with this very annoying story, the investigation revealed a massive petroleum subsidy fraud. In the first instance, findings showed that Mr. Ogunbambo was the sole owner of the international trading company, Citec Petroleum. There was also the sole owner of marketing company of the, he was sole owner of this vessel. Man, Niger. Anywho, after Mr. Ogunbambo fled Nigeria during his trial, he was convicted in absentia. Bauer wrote in his book that there was overwhelming evidence against Ogunbambo, his company, and one of his staff. Only one, Abila Dek. They were charged to court before Honorable Oni Banjo of Lagos, and after 9 years of prosecution, with the EFCC presenting 9 witnesses, of whom he was one prosecutor, number one, also and the company and the likes of it. Long story short, the man jumped bail. Long story short, he was prosecuted in absentia. Long story short, he got away with it, and is in the book. I don't know if you'll be able to read the book to the end because the story is annoying, but who knows whatever interesting stuff is in that book. I'm curious. But you see how easy it is? So this is a scam, subsidy is a scam. People that are scamming you do not even bring anything that you subsidize. So no due diligence, no nothing. So people brought document, you signed, you paid, he disappeared. You found out after the fact. Now, wow. Well, that's the story. And I thought, you know what, it wasn't just about, oh, Abdurrashid Bawa, good to hear from you, good to know you're around and writing a book. It was just about how almost easy it is to get away with some of these things in the country. And we need to do better in Nigeria. Yes, I know he said in the book that he's on the radar in the UK. But didn't they get him there and the money? Then he now ran to Nigeria and then used all his aliases and actually got into the industry, one of the most significant industry, the oil one, and then claimed he was an importer and he wanted to collect subsidy scam. Only God knows the number of Ogunbambos that have gotten away with it, and perhaps that are still chilling and just having a nice ride until subsidy is gone happened. But then, like if Dr. Majid was here, I would say, why didn't we find ways? We're humans, we're intellectual beings to addressing some of these things instead of just removing the subsidy altogether at the end of the day. So, you hear one of the many stories of how some people have just ripped us off, and even those who claim they brought, perhaps not bringing enough volume, it will just tell you that there was not enough due diligence, and they definitely would have people they're working in cahoots with. Don't tell me it's just one man and his one staff, and tell me that people who were signing and approving were not working in connivance with him. I will not buy that story. I'm not buying it today. I'm not buying it after Christmas. I'm not buying it ever. All right, so some of the stories we're looking at, there's more, but my phone lines are open. No guests with me. It's just you and I. So call me up on 0700 951 0000 or 0809 5974869, or you can call me via WhatsApp. Send a message or send a voice note not longer than a minute 30 seconds via WhatsApp also. The WhatsApp number is 0809 9930137. Hello? Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Who's there?
Someone who is investigating and reading a book. That's who. Go ahead. What's your name?
How are you?
Welcome to the show, sir.
Yeah, my name is Kimberly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I saw the headlines too, so I said let me put to it's very interesting.
Indeed it is. I had to read it to the end for you guys because it was getting given, the plot twist was not plot twisting. It was just annoyingly interesting.
Oh, of course. I really appreciate you for even giving us more elaboration. That is the dilemma of the country we find ourselves. We're in a country where everybody is free to commit crime and if you go to scot-free with it.
Well,
and
they were apparently trying to convict him, but he was granted bail and disappeared. I don't know if the book has the ending and they found Ugubambo some years later, but apparently not. So the man might be chilling in the Caribbean with all what he was able to grab us. Only God knows the next country is going off to scam.
Even the former EFCC chairman that is mentioning it now, do we have anything like any news concerning it in the public? I don't think we have any former or present government that has mentioned concerning this fraud. Even the Tinubu that even came that if fuel subsidy is gone. This is one of my disagreements with him. That yes, you say fuel subsidy is gone. But what of all the crime that have been perpetrated? What will happen to those people? It's only the citizen that is suffering it now. But all those things that have been stolen away with evidence, like this Bauer said now, and government, even to the level of the president, couldn't do anything about it. And all this, we can gather the money or get the money. It will go a long way to help our situation. But government is not looking to direct. Nobody is ready to deal with them. So it means that the government, even himself, is encouraging people to go to crime and scot-free.
All right.
Honestly, in a well-organized society, this kind of thing cannot repeat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, we're live on Facebook and YouTube, so at Nigeria Info Abuja. Abdul Rashid Boss sent this one. Okay, listening to Kim is one thing, watching is entirely different. I missed Dr. Majid's session yesterday as I got caught up with some work. It's all good. Keep doing your best. You're the best, Nigeria Info. Thank you very much. Prestige Obenya says, do we really need these artifacts? In the Netherlands, they'll be useful as they will attract tourists. But here, you see, that's the thing that when we're talking, that's why we're having the talk upstairs. Nigerians, some, not all, some, a minority of the some, will attribute all kind of spiritual stuff to it. This one now is talking about these things will possess them and use them to attack innocent people, you see. Too much Nollywood. All right, then. And let's see here. So there's a question I would ask in a bit. Let me just read some of the comment here. and it's looking at politics. Matthew from CBD say, please tell the Accountant General of the Federation to pay us our wage award so that we can celebrate Salah peacefully. Enough of all this deceit. They only pay 1 month out of 5 months arrears. Then our car dealer said civil servant cannot afford the Benz. That man was right. We can't even feed well. How can corruption be eradicated? He wrote. Wow. And Kim, you cracked me up when you say he disappeared. It reminds me of the Yoruba word. Wait, Okpora. Ogunbambo disappeared like abracadabra. The guy in original Oluwole. He was Lagosians about Oluwole. You would change Ogunbambo to Oluwole, says Stopper. I see. And Matthew, did I read your comment? Tell the accountant. Yes, I did. My question is, why do these people wait until they leave office or they have a book launch or a birthday anniversary before confessing and making revelations? Another Guinea passport man says Israel. I don't know why some people hate Nigeria so much, that they always want to hear negative news about Nigeria. When they hear good news about Nigeria, they feel bad. To me, I'm so much proud of my country. The British people really did a lot of evil to the rest of Africa. If not, they stole so many things from us. And now they're complaining about 419, calling all of us all sorts of names. Oludade Abiodun there. Survival is the first law of nature. So I think what Trump has done is in line with keeping with this very important law of nature. My worry is Donald would remember that his nation has been alleged to be involved in state terrorism. What is good for Trump should be good for Musa. So he should make sure that his country does not involve itself in state terrorism. A few weeks ago, the vibrant Ibrahim Traore was alleged to have been giving a bad name in order to hang him. The world is for us all humans, all nations and presidents, no matter how powerful, should make sure we have a relatively peaceful and progressive world. Once any of the presidents develop economies, indulge in state terrorism, other nations are bound to emulate it. Social engineer Comrade Efodu sent that one in. And Jane Central area, I see you also. The Netherlands returning the artifact is not from the kindness of their hearts. It's because the artifacts are no longer bringing in enough money for them to run their museums. It's become expensive for them to keep it. To look like the good guys, they chose to let it go. There's nothing kind about it. Samuel from Airport Road that knows things and just knows the intention. Nigeria, my country, former EFCC chairman that should be cooling off somewhere is writing a book. If I may ask, book for what? Some Nigerians, some people just like to stir controversy and keep us busy. IBB came and launched his own and made billions, irrespective of the controversy. Please, what are the usefulness of these books to the growth of Nigeria? OGB1 is asking. Apparently not a book, man. The Digital Oracle, welcome back to the mic. The news that the Netherlands is bringing back some of the Benin artifacts is a welcome development. But during the British invasion of some of our artwork, I believe it was in Benin art that we're taking away. What about Ife, Nok, and all of these artworks we're taking from there? Zach from Kuchikau. Interesting. All right. So would there be anything wrong if Fubara decides to join the APC? Well, Ijo president saying nothing at all. The suspended governor of Rivers State, Simi Fubara, paid a visit to Mr. President at his home, and then pictures were out there, and a lot of speculations were making the rounds as to, is it trying to migrate? Maybe not. I mean, suspended is a state of emergency in a place where it should be governing. Perhaps, that could just be it. Talks about it and seeing how normalcy can return back to the state. And already people are already saying, could it be a move? Is it very strategic to move or whatnot? But do you think you want to move to the APC? Technically, the Honorable Minister of the FCT is not in the APC, so you might want to go, but let me just leave him in PDP and go there. But you know that it's still not a safe ground for him. Anywhere he goes, he's going to meet Wiki there. Well, the president of the Ijaw Nation, Professor Benjamin Okaba, says that Governor Similayi Fubara switching from the People's Democratic Party to the ruling All Progressive Party should not be faulted if it helps solve the lingering political crisis. Okaba made the comment during an appearance on TV this morning following Fubara's recent meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and reacting to report that the governor could defect to the APC. Okaba said there's nothing wrong about that. At this point, we must be realistic and we must have an understanding of Nigerian politics. We operate a... what is malutocracy? We don't have political parties anymore, but platforms for political contestation. What we are is just platforms put together for people to transmit or oscillate from one place to another. If we have state governors and former vice president candidate of party just move on to the extent that one of the governors says, if you don't move with me, I will sack you. We know who he's talking about, Akwa Ibom. Now, Okaba also referenced Fubara's statement where he stated he would do anything to bring back peace to the state. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the 18th of March declared a state of emergency on Rivers State, suspended Governor Simi Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Ojo, and all elected members of the State House of Assembly. He also appointed Vice Admiral Ibodete Ebas as the state administrator to oversee governance of the state. And so this visit, where the details are still trickling, he's already asking and responding and saying, well, if he ports, he ports. If he moves to the APC, so be it. If he's going to bring peace, so be it. But do you think that's the move? Do you think we could perhaps see that kind of move happening in this political landscape as it is? Don't you think it's going to be pretty much a dangerous one if that happens? I mean, there's a lot of scenario that can play out if Fubara decides to leave PDP for the APC, and you could spell one or two of them out. So let's get back to you. Hello.
Hello, Kim.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Thank you. Good afternoon to our listeners. Fubara going to APC. That should not happen in the first place, but it can happen because Rivers State is predominantly PDP state. It's a PDP state because right from 1999 till date, no party has produced governor in that, not even a tangible number of opposition senators. So Rivers is a PDP state. But we are all aware of the fact that Governor Fubara has been molested. He has been dehumanized. He has been humiliated, and he has been ousted, somehow quote suspension, by the president, which is not supposed to be. But of course, we all know that Nigerian politicians hold down to their own interests and not the interests of people. So if he feels the pain that the safe haven is just the ruling party, so let it be. He might be there. But the truth of the matter is that he's being coerced. He's being conscripted into that party, not by his will. So Nigerians should know that. But what I can say about this government is the government is a dictatorial government.
All right.
It is a despotic government.
All right.
There is so much striking similarity.
Plenty words. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Kim.
Okay. Before you give an answer, you first said dehumanizing. I was waiting for you to expand on it. But yeah, I can see how you want to use that word, saying that a state of emergency was declared in a way that can be dehumanizing for one who was elected, if we can use that word, for the election into office and recognized as the chief executive of the state. All right, let's hear another caller. All the phone lines just went off. All right, it's open night free. And Velumon Samuel, did I mention your first name right? Forgive me if I didn't. Says, honestly, sometimes I resolve to stay tuned to your time on radio because your voice is on to just kind. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Let us see what else we have here. Take this voice message quickly.
Good afternoon, Kim. My name is Ndulundi. This man who was given bail and he eloped, left the country. It's very, very funny, honestly. What happens in this country at times amazes me. I cannot understand, I can't wrap my head around that somebody took this man on bail, or somebody guaranteed him before he went on bail. Where is that person? That is one. Then, under whose custody was this man was before he escaped the country? We don't know. We are there no customs at the airport. Was information not given to them? Was this man's passport not seized after they caught bail? Then, for the fact that he was paid this subsidy, who paid him? What were the criteria used in paying this subsidy? What are the evidences that should be produced before these things were paid? And who even paid without proper clearance? Look, nobody can tell me that there are collaborators in this particular case. Where are the collaborators? Who aided in this transaction? They should have been rounded up. Look, this country is a joke. Thank you, Kim.
All right, thank you very much. That was a voice message. Let's take this call. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, you're
Hello.
welcome.
Kim, how are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. You're welcome.
Yeah, this is Akin. First subsidy, like June 12th, it will continue to linger in our memory. You remember this subsidy issue consumed the brilliant career of Farouk from Kano. Do you remember?
Otedola Farouk.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Yeah, the Farouk gate.
Very brilliant guy. He was the chairman of the investigative committee, if you recall. This same, you remember Uba, late Senator Uba?
Mm-hmm.
He collected 5 billion naira without supplying a single liter of petroleum. There are so many of such cases. And as I said, the memory of that subsidy will be like June 12th. We cannot forget June 12th, that same subsidy issue. And many of those guys are still walking freely on our street too. Those are those people that were accused, that were caught.
Well,
taking money
maybe
from
because
the
their accomplices are still also pretty much comfortable where they are. Because you can't tell me that they skimmed this thing solely on their own and got away with it without accomplices.
Tell me, Senator Obama was, after that, he won election to the Senate and became a senator of the Federal Republic. Understand? So those records are there, and it's no longer, it's not news. Even the guy they are talking about, somebody said, how did he escape the country? But you are hearing from the book that the guy said, another name for that guy's name is his scam. So that guy got more than 10 passports now. So if you take one passport, if you take another passport, the guy still have about 6,000 passports to escape the country. So it's not about the custom and the rest.
I mean, his own was so complicated that I had to make the cut in Abdul Rashid Bawa's book. He said, no, I must write about this man's own. It's too much.
That guy that sold the airport, remember that guy from Delta State?
Yeah.
That guy sold
the guy that sold the airport, that's his name, right? I was trying to remember.
Nothing this guy cannot do does not exist. I'm telling you the truth. Let's forget and move ahead with our life.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. All right, let's hear another caller. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir, you're welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex.
Alex.
I'm calling from Uye.
Go ahead, Alex.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, yes. I want to talk on Fubara going to PC as alleged by the regional leader. Actually, if I were Fubara, I wouldn't want to jump to APC for obvious reasons. Now, a lot of people are believing that he knows what he's doing. A lot of people are believing that he is trying to build his own political structure, even if it costs him his seat. Because many Nigerians we are so quick in having it now. Good luck, Jonathan. We know that he became vice president, deputy governor, and people were like, he behaved as if he never wanted it. He became governor before he became vice president, just because of his humility and straightforwardness. And he later became president. So what I'm trying to say is that even if it cost him his seat, he has said in several fora that even if he never, in fact, he doesn't even want to come there. So people will never take him serious. But if, as a Nigerian, if he believes that he must jump to APC before he be politically relevant, well, good for him. But for me, I think it will better. It will better for him to remain in PDP than to go to APC and may still not find a level playing ground because his guy is still in that APC. He's in APC, he's in PDP. So he rather remain there and see some people that will support him. So that is my take. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And, well, he hasn't said he's moving, but, people are saying, well, meeting with the president, could this be the next political big move that we're going to see? And the Ijaw president is saying if it happens, it happens. Besides, a lot of people have been moving all over the place, and Fubara is not going to be any different. If that's the best way to bring peace to the state, so be it at this point in time. What do you think? That's a move that the suspended governor want to take at this point in time? Well, you never can say. With politicians, that is. If Fubara joins the APC, it's his choice. Nobody's forcing him to join to be a governor. To be a governor, is it by force? Elijah from Kuching. Okay. Sorry for those who are trying to get through to our phone lines. It is down. You can only get us via WhatsApp for now until we have it back up. So our WhatsApp number is 0809 9930137. You can send a voice message. You can send a message. Or you can call via WhatsApp. Don't call it regularly, it won't connect. And share your take with us. Okay, let me see. Any more messages? Let's see if this one is, I think.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
All right, definitely from earlier on. So. Okay. Honestly, sometimes I resolve to just stay tuned. All right, I read that one on YouTube, so that settles it then. All right, people, the time is up already. We need to take a break, commercial, and then the news. And when I return, we'll be talking about Nigeria. Stay with 95.1 Nigeria Info.
A place where you can get.
This is Nigeria Info.